everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review for Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. So this book follows two characters, Etta and Nicholas, who end up meeting in unexpected circumstances. Etta is a violin prodigy who has dedicated her whole entire life to her music, and she thinks that she's going to have her big debut, but she ends up somewhere that she was not expecting. Nicholas, on the other hand, he is a sailor who is really content with his life. It isn't the best, but he's just kind of putting up with it because he knows it's not going to get any better. But then he ends up somehow meeting up with Etta, and the two go on an adventure together, and it's just really crazy. This is an awful synopsis, but yeah. The writing of this book was good. I found it to be enjoyable. I really like Alexandra Bracken's writing style. I find that it reads like a movie because I can really picture things in my head, but I did find that there were a lot of info dumps. There were a lot of times that I liked the fact that you got the information, but you got all of it all at once, and it was like for a few pages you were getting a lot of information. And that being said, I found that it was really slow. The writing was a lot of embellishments and not a lot of telling, which was a little bit of an issue for me, but it didn't really ruin the story. It just kind of made it a little bit, not cumbersome, but tedious to read. And this book is written in dual point of view, and I thought it worked really well with this book. I felt like each of the characters had a unique viewpoint, and you could tell who you were reading at the time, just because of their distinctive voice. So I did think that worked really well for this book, because sometimes that can just ruin a book for me. I really enjoyed the characters of this book. I liked Etta a lot. I did feel like she kind of was too accepting in a way. She didn't really question what was going on. She just kind of went with it, which I feel like I would be questioning things a lot, so that did bug me a little bit, but I liked the fact that music played such a big role in her life and that it really carried throughout the book. It kind of fenced in the whole plot. I liked that a lot, and I felt like she was a strong character, but I did feel like she was a little bit unrealistically strong. Nicholas, I felt like, was a character who was kind of defined by his relationship to Etta, and I don't think that was necessarily a negative. I felt like they were really interesting characters because in the time period that they're in, they are both at a disadvantage. I mean, she's a woman, he's a black man, they're both kind of the outsiders, and I felt like that connection between the two was really interesting and really made their relationship kind of make sense. But I did find that it was a little bit insta-lovey. It was all of a sudden they were like, oh wow, I really like you, and I felt like there were no signs leading up to it. It just kind of happened. So it was almost like it was a matter of convenience and boredom, but their relationship wasn't my favorite, but the contrast between the two of them I found was really interesting because they were really complementary characters. The plot of this book, like I said, was really slow burning. It just had a lot of embellishment that wasn't exactly necessary, but I did think it was overall a really cool plot. I thought it was really interesting. However, I wish that the information had been more spread out and that there had been a little bit more of it, because I still am unsure on a few things that happened in this book, and how a few things work, because I mean, I was getting all the information at once, so I was kind of getting really overwhelmed. So I think if that had been spread out a little bit more and I really had gotten a chance to process it, I would have enjoyed this book more. But I really liked how contemporary issues were brought up in this book, but they were set in a past setting. So women's rights, racism, all of that stuff, they were brought up, those issues, and you would see them in the past, and it kind of makes you think about how that is still going on today and how that is still an issue today, and I felt like that was really interesting to bring up in this book, and it worked really well. It kind of showed how those issues translate across time and how far we have come, but also still kind of how far we have to go. overall, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a really solid first book in the series. I was a little bit let down because I had been really looking forward to this book because I love Alexandra Bracken. I just become so engrossed in her novels, and this one was no different, but this one was, I mean, I had a few issues with it, but I am really looking forward to what's going to happen in the rest of the series because I think it has a ton of potential and it could get really, really cool. So that's going to be all for today's review. If you have read this book, please let me know your thoughts on it. I hope you found this review helpful, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!